Welcome to the Africa 2100 podcast, the show where we explore the future of business, innovation, and entrepreneurship on the continent. Join us as we dive into real stories, expert insights, and practical strategies to help you build, scale, and succeed. Whether you're a founder, investor, or changemaker, this is your go-to space for ideas that shape the next generation of African businesses. Let's get started.
Welcome to the Africa 2100 podcast, where we dive deep into the world of business, innovation, and entrepreneurship on the continent. I am Chudi Obiaya, and today we are diving into a critical step for every aspiring entrepreneur: business idea validation. Many startups fail because they skip the validation stage, investing time and money into ideas that haven't been properly tested. But how do you validate your business idea before launching? That's what we're here discussing today. Joining us are two remarkable guests. My good friend, Travis Reed. Travis is the founder of SDLC 101, a strategic partner to organizations seeking excellence in software and solution delivery. With more than 25 years of experience in systems and software development, he has led enterprise-wide re-engineering initiatives, driving digital transformation, agile adoption, and Lean Six Sigma methodologies. Travis is also an original supporter of the Africa 2100 movement. Welcome and thank you for coming on the podcast, Travis.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Joy Kinya. Joy is deeply passionate about the intersection of geography and technology, a passion that led her to found Ace Geo Consultancy, a firm specializing in cutting-edge geospatial technologies. As one of the standout members of Africa 2100's pilot cohort, she leverages her expertise to drive impactful solutions in her field. Welcome, Joy.
Thank you, Mr. Chudi.
Travis, why do so many startups fail due to lack of validation, and what can be done to avoid this?
So yeah, I guess a couple of things probably. Awareness is probably the key thing. I think most people that start a business or want to develop a new product automatically believe because they think it's a fit for customers or a solution area that everyone will adopt that mentality. So I think awareness of the ability to do it and do it relatively cheaply is probably the number one driver. So I think that's the first thing. And then again, I think a lot of entrepreneurs don't always understand the product life cycle and the customer segments associated with each part of that life cycle. So I think that's an easy way for people to, the awareness that it's cheap and easy to do in most circumstances, and two, understanding the product life cycle and customer segments is a key part of that. Am I teasing early adopters and innovators, or am I really opening up a door to my early majority and my late majority? And those are the key things that you'd want to understand for any new product or service.
Thanks, Travis. Joy, can you share an experience where you had unexpected challenges because the validation process was skipped?
Definitely, yes. So, in my experience, when I was joining Africa 2100, I had this idea of I wanted to distribute survey machines to surveyors within my region. I was very, very, very passionate about doing that. So, I went ahead, engaged a friend of mine who's acquainted very well in that field. And also, I looked for a Chinese company that manufactures these machines. Remember, there's already a firm that is good and well known to do these things, and we know. And there's also a popular product. There's a popular brand that we prefer. But the firm that the manufacturers that I engaged were new to the market. I'm also new to that market, so we held meetings, we talked, we discussed logistics and everything. So we are at the point where we want to now purchase our first product and ship it in Kenya and test it. At this point, we've not even used the product to see if it's quality, it's of good quality. So we just wanted to do that, and we were telling ourselves that at that time, let's just bring the product. We'll get buyers, not realizing that this is all a fallacy. So thankfully, Africa 21 and 100 program started, and I shared this idea, and we discussed, and I realized how much I had not done the prior, research before engaging, and I would have gone the further step of bringing those products here, and my business would have failed. So I realized the lack of doing proper research, and later when I was speaking to surveyors on the ground, I realized there's really no need for that product in the market because already there's a preferred choice. So now I realize the lack of market need and lack of proper research could have brought that business down as fast as I had started it. So I learned the importance of doing market research.
Thank you, Joy. Well, you dodged the bullet there, as they will say. Travis, what's the best way to identify and challenge key assumptions about a business idea?
Uh, the best way, I don't know that there's a single best way. Again, Joy touched on something interesting that it plays into the product life cycle and developing your hypothesis or your validation strategy. And part of that is it a brand new product and service, a complete innovation, a market disruption, or is it an evolutionary innovation in a product life cycle that's adjusting what the current market expects and meeting that new market expectation. So depending on those different types of products and services, you might want to take a little bit different approach. But I think the key is always find people. There's a movie, World War Z, I think it was, with Brad Pitt in it, where they talk about the 10th man strategy. And if 10 people agree with what you're doing or think it's a great idea, find the person that disagrees with that and understand why they disagree. Have them challenge your idea, have them challenge the strategy associated with it, and then develop a hypothesis in order to test or validate their concerns or the things that they think are incorrect in the product or the product strategy. I think that's the key, is always find people that will find some minor or major issues with what you're trying to do, and then figure out how to validate that you're on the right track and their concerns are either addressed or non-existent. So I love the story of Dropbox. They, in order to get their idea validated, they didn't build software. They didn't go out to the market and create a media blitz or a campaign. What they did was they recorded a video, they posted it online on a website, and they let people watch the video for free. And if you're interested in the product associated with the video, you signed up on a mailing list, and that validated their product at very low cost. And it allowed them to get the funding that they needed to develop and pursue the product. And their market cap today is about $8 or $12 billion, something like that. So I think even very simple things can be done, very low cost things. If you talk to product teams, they'll talk to you about prototyping things. That's always one of the easiest areas, and certainly using low cost techniques is something that most entrepreneurs, especially, want to do. They don't have big budgets to be able to do that type of exploration like a large company does. And if you can do it simply and cheaply, get surveys, interviews, market research, classic market research is always one of the best ways to be able to validate whatever your hypothesis is.
Well, now we know. Joy, when you were starting out, how did you know your idea was viable?
When I was starting out, I first of all went and talked to people on the ground. I look for, in the field that I'm in right now, I'm a non-surveyor, so I interact with a lot of farmers, and I get connections to making me even the ones that I would like to talk to. So that is what I did. I looked for people who would I talk to, people who would give me direct feedback, and that is how I went about it. So I met this manager of a farmer, of a large scale farmer, somewhere near the city. So he was telling me how drones have come to pursuing the technology of using drones in agriculture. And he told me that this is a viable business. This is they need drones to do this, to help them manage the farm, to help them in spraying and monitoring, because it's actually easier and faster rather than doing it manually, where you spend more days, more laborers, more money doing the same kind of work that you would have done in a single day. So I also talked to small scale farmers who did not appreciate the concept of drones, obviously, because it would come, they said from their reception of this idea, they said it would be too costly because if I'm a small scale farmer, I don't need a machine to do that. I'll just walk around or maybe hire someone and I get everything I need, all the data I need to solve any problems that I have in my farm. So that's how I came to my conclusion.
Thanks, Joy. Travis, what are the cost effective ways for founders? I mean, Joy just talked a little bit about the challenges and simplicity. And you, I believe, had mentioned it earlier on. Are there cost effective ways for founders to gather real insights from potential customers? You talked about the Dropbox approach.
Sure. So one, we're talking about new ideas and innovations, certainly artificial intelligence and some of the opportunities associated with deep research, deep seek type questions can give you insights from across a plethora of data sources, that are on the open web and other sources. Certainly surveys, traditional market research. I think really cuts into this, understanding your customers, understanding the needs of your customers. If you really go through so there's an approach referred to as the double diamond approach, which talks about truly understanding the problem. So first you want to evaluate and get to the root cause of what the problem is that you're trying to solve, your product or service. And then once you do that, you want to evaluate different opportunities to solve that problem correctly. So empathy mapping certainly is a technique to understand customers, and a great way to really hone your product features to the customer's needs and wants and desires. And certainly all of those things can allow you at very low cost to be able to go out and do market research, do A/B type testing, really understanding as an entrepreneur. You don't have to master it per se, but understanding the product life cycle is a critical component in being successful. And if that's not something that's in your toolkit, find someone who has it in their toolkit so they can help you with some of these things. A simple website, for example, push through social media and those types of things can allow you to do a lot of different innovative things related to understanding customers and what they want. We talked in a previous conversation, you and I talked about, even as somebody doing a side hustle, you're interacting with somebody else's customers while you're doing that side hustle. You can use that as a stepping stone to start to get market research for making those customers your customer. Again, it's really understanding your product positioning, understanding where you think it's filling in. Is it new in the market? Is it a brand new thing? Is it an innovation on an existing thing? And that will help you shape how you go about that validation.
Joy, how did you conduct market research for your business and what key insights did you gain?
I had two methods. I first tried the online surveys using Google Forms, and then I also did interviews with my potential customers. The online surveys were kind of limiting to an extent because most of these questions, as much as you'd like for them to be open-ended, you don't get the full context of what you or actually understand what the farmer is going through. But on conducting interviews is when I was able to gather and understand the pain points of what farmers go through. Again, insight, you also get to understand the frustrations, what frustrates them, what makes them happy, those pain points of farmers. Through interviews was the best way I conducted, validated my business idea, and using online surveys.
Thanks, Joy. This discussion has provided valuable insights into the essential steps entrepreneurs need to take to assess viability, refine their concepts, and position their ventures for success. Some key takeaways which we've obtained from Travis and Joy sharing with us is the importance of stepping back and validating before committing your limited resources. Another was test your assumptions through market research, customer discovery, and MVP experiments. So Travis talked about, there are always cheap ways to mock up or to prototype what you're trying to do. That's typically what MVP stands for, minimum viable, so the lowest cost viable, what you need to validate that your product either works or that it will be acceptable to customers. And embracing feedback. Travis urges us to go out and look for that one person who's a naysayer, who says, no, this can't work, and understand why they believe it can't work, and use that to create your assumptions that need to be validated by others. And data-driven decision-making for long-term success. So with that said, thank you, Travis and Joy, for sharing your knowledge. If you found this valuable, share the episode with someone working on a business idea. And don't forget to subscribe for more insights. See you next time.
That's it for today's episode of the Africa 2100 podcast. If you found value in this conversation, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. For more insights on building and scaling your startup, stay connected with us. Until next time, keep innovating, keep building, and let's shape the future of African business.